Alright Rangers fans, here we go again, loads to unpack today, so grab a seat, get comfortable, and let's dive into all the latest coming out of Ibrox. First up, the big talking point doing the rounds, the potential signing of Max Aarons. That's right, Rangers are seriously closing in on the Bournemouth right back. And from everything that's been floating around, this isn't just some clickbait rumor. It's a real link with actual legs, and it's looking more and more like it's going to happen. So let's get into the meat of it. Max Aarons, or to give him his Sunday best, Maximilian James Aarons. Yeah, how about that for a name? Sounds like he should be playing the violin in some London concert hall. But no, he's been making his name bombing up and down the right flank. The lad's 25 years old, still right in the sweet spot of his career, and originally hails from Hammersmith in London. Can't hold that against him though, right? He stands at 1.7 meters tall. For those of you still clinging onto imperial measurements, that's just under 6 foot. He's got dual nationality, English and Jamaican, thanks to his family roots. And most importantly for us, he's a natural right back, right-footed, and let's be honest, someone who fits a glaring need in this Rangers squad. Currently, he's still on the books at Bournemouth, but after a loan stint at Valencia, where they had the option to buy but decided not to, and no, not because they didn't rate him, but simply because their financial situation is an absolute mess, he's heading back to the Cherries. His contract with Bournemouth actually runs until the summer of 2029. But here's where things get interesting. Bournemouth are apparently happy to loan him out again with an option to buy inserted this time, which suits both parties nicely. For Rangers, this could finally bring some clarity to a position that's been under scrutiny for quite some time. Let's not pretend this isn't also casting a shadow over James Tavernier's future as an automatic starter. More on that in a second. Back to Aarons though. His career started at Norwich City, where he came through their youth ranks, and then racked up over 100 appearances for their first team. 6 goals and 14 assists from right back during that time, making it a total of 20 direct goal contributions into 113 matches. Solid numbers, especially when you consider the level he was playing at. Bournemouth then came calling, and splashed out around £7 million for his services. At Bournemouth, he's made 27 appearances with just a 1 assist, but let's not judge him too harshly on that. It's been a tough time at Bournemouth, and he hasn't had consistent runs of games to really build up momentum. Then came his loan to Valencia, which, let's face it, was never going to be easy. This isn't the Valencia of old, not the side that was challenging for La Liga titles under Rafa Benitez or winning European silverware. This is a Valencia side riddled with financial issues, internal drama, and a squad that's been struggling all over the pitch. Even world-class players would have found it tough in that environment. Aarons made just for La Liga appearances, clocking up a total of 118 minutes. Add to that a single Copa del Rey appearance, 3 outings in the Premier League, and 1 FA Cup match before his loan spell. Not the dream season for him, but when you're parachuted into a sinking ship mid-season, what more can you expect? Now let's address the elephant in the room. What does this mean for James Tavernier? Look, Tav has been a loyal servant for Rangers. Nobody's taking that away from him. But the past couple of seasons, let's be brutally honest here, he's been a liability defensively. Legs are going, positional awareness is nowhere near where it should be, and he's getting caught at the back post far too often. Remember that horror show against Bilbao? Classic example of Tav losing his man. It's been happening game after game, and the stats back it up. You can't keep playing a guy who's costing you points and performances. Russell Martin's system needs fullbacks who are fit, fast, and know exactly where they should be, both with and without the ball. Fullbacks who can invert when needed, who can push high when required, but also track back and defend their lines with discipline. Max Aarons fits that mold perfectly. He's quick, technically sound, and defensively reliable. This isn't a signing for depth. This is a signing to come straight in and play, to start, to push Tav out of that starting 11. And if anyone's still sitting there thinking this is just a stopgap, think again. Bournemouth are willing to include an option to buy, and you don't do that for a player you're just bringing in to sit on the bench for the odd cup game. This is a serious move, one that could mark a real turning point for Rangers in that position. Now, before we move on, let's just have a quick word about the general Norwich connection. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Another one, Todd Cantwell, Kieran Dowell, and now potentially Aarons. It's like half of Carroll Road's alumni is relocating to Glasgow. But look, if they improve the team and fit the system, who cares if they pull on that blue jersey and deliver? That's all that matters. Alright, switching gears slightly, let's talk about the Kavama Poku situation. This one's another exciting development. Rangers have been in the race for the Peterborough winger, and let me tell you, it's been a proper scrap to get him. Over 25 clubs across Europe and the English Championship have shown interest. Birmingham City were particularly keen, but it's looking increasingly like Rangers have won the race for his signature. Poku's a left-footed winger who plays off the right-hand side. Exactly the sort of player to inject pace and unpredictability into the attack. Quick, direct, and someone who thrives at taking on defenders on and own. And yes, before anyone jumps in, I know it was League One, but the lad's numbers speak for themselves. 27 league appearances, 12 goals, 8 assists, 20 direct goal contributions in 27 matches. That's seriously impressive output. Add to that 2 assists in the FA Cup and it's clear he's a player who makes things happen. His profile fits exactly what Rangers need on the flanks. Someone to get fans off their seats, someone who can break defensive lines, and someone with the raw attributes to step up at a higher level. The excitement around this deal is totally justified, right? Let's now address the Harry Darling story. The centre-back formerly of Swansea City officially announced his departure yesterday. Put out a heartfelt message to the Swansea fans thanking them for their support, and saying he's ready for a new adventure. Rangers were heavily linked with him. Let's not kid ourselves. Russell Martin knows the lad well, signed him twice already, once at MK Dons and again at Swansea. Martin clearly rates him, but it looks like we're set to miss out. Darling seems to be heading to Norwich City. Yep, you heard that right, another Norwich link. But look, if he's chosen Championship football over European nights at Ibrox and the chance to lift silverware in front of 55,000 fans, you've got to question where his priorities lie. Harsh maybe, but you cannot tell me that playing for Norwich in the English second tier is more glamorous than pulling on the blue shirt in front of a packed Ibrox. It comes down to one thing, and we all know what that is: money. The new EFL TV deal means even mid-table Championship sides can offer players wages that Scottish clubs struggle to match. It's not right, but it's the reality. If Darling's making his decision purely on the wage packet, then so be it. Personally, I'd rather have players who want to play for the badge, who are hungry for European football, who want to win trophies. If he's all about the money, let him go. And while we're on centre backs, the name that keeps coming back around is Connor Cody. The Leicester City man, vastly experienced, a born leader, and someone who could bring real steel and composure to the back line. I won't go into too much detail about Cody today, covered him before, but safe to say, he could be the first central defender through the door if this Darling deal is now dead and buried. Alright folks, that's the first part done, and there's still plenty more to cover. From Cyril Desser's impending exit to the latest on Nico Raskin, things are heating up at Ibrox. Stick with me for the next chunk, where we dive deeper into those stories. Now moving on to Cyril Desser's, the man who's divided the Rangers' support from day one. Some love him for his goal tally, others tear their hair out watching him miss sitters week after week, but whatever side of the fence you sit on, the reality is simple: Dessers is on his way out. The Nigerian-Belgian striker is set for a move to AEK Athens, and from everything that's coming out, personal terms have already been agreed. The fee, well, that depends on who you ask. If you believe the noise coming from certain quarters of Glasgow, particularly those with a green and white obsession, you'd think Rangers are letting him go for peanuts. The same people who spend more time talking about Rangers' finances than their own club's transfer business. But let's deal with facts, not fantasy. The fee is expected to land somewhere between 5 million and 5.5 million euros. That translates roughly to around 4.2 to 4.6 million pounds, depending on the exchange rate of the day. For a player who turned 31 next season and who, let's be honest, never fully settled into Russell Martin's system, that's not a bad bit of business. Dessers just doesn't fit the profile Martin's looking for. The gaffer wants a striker who presses high, harries defenders, and makes intelligent runs in behind. Dessers isn't that guy, never has been. On top of that, Rangers will reportedly include add-ins and performance-based incentives in the deal. So if Dessers goes to Greece, banks and a load of goals, fires AEK to domestic titles or European qualification, Rangers will see more cash coming their way. Look, let's be real, the lad did put up a decent number of goals in his time here, but in the grand scheme, he's not the long-term answer up front. This is a move that works for everyone involved. He gets a fresh start, Rangers get money back into the pot, and the wage bill gets a little breathing room. And that brings us nicely onto the last story of the day, Nicolas Raskin. Now this one's got the fanbase on edge. Aston Villa, flush with cash from Premier League TV deals and backed by wealthy owners, are reportedly preparing a bid in the region of £25 million for the Belgian midfielder. That's right, 25 million. The same Aston Villa who played Champions League football last season. The same Villa with a squad full of international talent. And a manager who's shown he knows how to build a top-four side. In England, for anyone doubting whether Villa have the financial muscle to pull this off, let's put that nonsense to bed right now. They've got it. Their revenue streams dwarf anything Rangers can generate domestically. And while it stings, the reality is that if Villa want Raskin badly enough, they'll put the money down. The connection with Yuri Tielemans, Raskin's Belgian teammate, only adds fuel to the fire. A move to Villa Park would mean a chance for Raskin to play in one of the best leagues in the world, surrounded by top players in European competition, and with a huge platform to showcase himself for future moves. Now look, no Rangers fan wants to see him go. He's been one of our most consistent performers, someone who gives everything on the pitch, and a player we could easily build a team around. But football's a business now more than ever. £25 million is a huge chunk of change for any Scottish club. Add that to whatever budget John Bennett and the new investors are putting together, and suddenly Rangers would be sitting on a war chest capable of bringing in three, maybe four high-quality players. Do I want him to leave? No. Would I understand? And if the club accepted such a bid? Absolutely. That's just where we're at right now as a club competing in a financially lopsided football landscape. If the bid comes in and the player wants to move, it's hard to see Rangers turning it down. And let's be honest, if Raskin keeps performing like he has been, this won't be the only big money offer coming in for him this summer. So there you have it, folks. Max Aaron's close to signing Kavama Poku, choosing Rangers over a host of other clubs. Harry Darling slipping away to Norwich, Cyril Dessers heading off to Greece. And the biggest of them all, Aston Villa sniffing around Nicholas Raskin with a massive bid potentially incoming. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Rumors have begun to swirl once again in the blue half of Glasgow, as whispers emerge suggesting a potential return of none other than Aaron Ramsey to Rangers. The Welsh midfielder, known for his elegant touch and big game temperament, could be eyeing a second stint at Ibrox, much to the intrigue of fans and critics alike. Though nothing has been confirmed, sources close to the club hint that informal talks may have taken place, igniting speculation that Ramsey, once a Premier League stalwart with Arsenal and more recently spotted in continental campaigns, might fancy another dance in the Scottish Premiership. His previous spell with Rangers in 2022, albeit short and not without its share of highs and lows, left a curious mark. Some remember that missed penalty in Seville, others his flashes of brilliance in midfield, but none can deny his pedigree. At 34, Ramsey might no longer be the tireless dynamo who once graced the Emirates, but experience is a currency much valued in title races and European qualifiers. For a Rangers side keen on reclaiming domestic dominance and asserting itself in Europe, could a veteran like Ramsey offer just the spark needed? Or is this just another summer swirl? The kind of rumor that flickers briefly before vanishing into the transfer mist? Club insiders remain tight-lipped, while Ramsey's camp has yet to deny or confirm the murmurs. Still, the mere mention of his name at Ibrox has tongues wagging and keyboards clattering across Scotland. Is a return truly on the cards? For now, it's just talk, but in football, talk often finds a way of turning into headlines. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.